And un, den, trois. That'll work. Hello there. You're probably wondering, what am I doing here? Today, I've decided to test out and review some pens. I'm somewhat of a pen enjoyer. I have many pens. I don't have anything to do. I'm getting paid to sit here, so why not review some pens? I thought I was going to have to do my job for a second, but don't worry, it's okay. First one up is a Bic Round Stick Grip. It's a nice pen. This one will be the only one in red. Doesn't have that nice little, I guess it's got some sort of little grip there, which is nice. We're going to do a test in a couple ways. Hopefully you can see that there. We're going to write Bic Round Stick, no K, Grip. Then we're also going to do a little smudge test, S-M-U-D-G-E. Surprisingly, very little smudging. This, it's solid to write with. Feels like there's a good amount of ink in there. It's a nice looking red, not particularly bold. A little more on the pink side, but compared to some stuff we'll see later, although the stuff we'll see later will be in black, this is a very solid choice. This is a pen that I think I will be picking up off the ground in the future if I find it. Bic has got some quality products. The next one up is the Liquid Magnus Micro, 0.5 millimeters presumably. This is a roller ball, so this one should flow much better. What do I call this? The Liquid Magnus Micro. You can already see just how much sexier and sleeker that pen is. This feels so much better. Liquid Magnus Micro. But this is something we'll get into later. We'll see the smudge test. Ooh, it's definitely a little smudgier. There's a lot more. Maybe that's just because the color is darker, but that's much more smudged than our Bic. This has been one of my go-tos recently, the Paper Mate Inkjoy Gel 07. 07 seems to be probably the most popular writing utensil size, caliber, gauge. I don't know. But this is something that I've just really fallen in love with. Paper Mate Inkjoy Gel 07. It writes well. I love the click. Hopefully that's picking up. I love the click. I love the design. It's so sleek looking. It's got a good rubberized grip almost all the way around. It's got a pretty sturdy pocket clip. This is one of the few ones that I haven't broken off. I try not to do that, but I don't think I've ever bought a pen. I've only ever found them on the ground. So this shows, that was an improper smudge text. That's a bad one. Don't do that. Smudge. So very, very minimal smudging here. I'm gonna redo that one. It seemed too good to be true. Oh fuck, I smelled it wrong. Yeah, there is very little smudge, especially we should expect more when we go up a size, but this seems better than either of the two we've already seen. This is one of my favorite pens. Do a little pen spin action there. I've got a very fun setup here. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I've finally done it. I finally reviewed pens. Ooh. Next one up is another Liquid Magnus. This is a Liquid Magnus Fine 0.7, so the same size as our Paper Mate Inkjoy Gel. Again, it's more or less the same. This one feels much wetter. You can see that kind of bolder font, and there's almost like a bit of a sheen difference. I don't know if the Camera's able to pick that up, but I can see that this ink is wetter. We will definitely get our hands dirty when we get to do the smudge test. Liquid Magnus Fine 0.7, and this was a 0.5, and this I don't know because it didn't say. Smudge time. Ooh, look it. If you're writing notes in class, you're right-handed like me, I'm writing stuff, I go fleebity balls, and I go to the next line. That's definitely going to get all over my notes. That might ruin my session. That might make me fail. That might make you fail. So as much as I enjoy this, you definitely need a little bit more dexterous of a hand here. You don't want to be smudging, but it's a lot of fun. It's such a fun black. Look how deep that is compared to the Liquid Magnus Micro. Let's get the Papermate Inkjoy for comparison. The Inkjoys looks a lot more like the Micro, but this is such like a nice detail pen, such a nice shading pen. It comes on so thick and wet. I just want to drink this stuff. Look at that. Ooh. I'm gonna punch a hole through this thing. All right. Here we've got, actually, no, not that one. This is what all good pens are measured against. This is the staple in pens. This is the Pilot G207. This is my personal favorite. It's a lot of fun. It's got that wondrous click. It's got good feel to it. It's got a very hefty clip. I love the click. I love the kind of like orangish yellowy color you can see to weights down the ink itself. Also want to drink that. Getting my hands all dirty. This is what all good pens are measured against. This is my personal favorite going into this. Pilot G207. A respectable smudge test. It's about in league with the Micro, maybe a little better. They look like they actually smudge about the same, but because the G2's caliber, I'm going to say that's what we use to decide pen ball width from now on. We measure in caliber now. Because the caliber's a little bolder, I feel like it stands up a little better. There also seems to be less distance in the smudge. The Micro seems to go all the way out to here, while the G207 stops about where the Liquid Magnus does. But you can read this G207 smudge a lot better than the fine Liquid Magnus smudge. This one doesn't come out quite as wet as the Magnus Fine, but it's about the same shade. You can definitely do some fine detail work here. God, this is the most pen of all time. That's one of my favorites. That's probably my favorite pen. Yep. Next up, we've got an Energel Liquid Gel ink by Pentel. This is a metal tip, 0.7 millimeter ball pen. So very similar to some stuff we've already seen. You can see I've found this one already pre-broken. It's got a fun little, almost like a musical instrument. Not a whole lot to play with because someone broke it off. It may have been me. I really don't know. Was that I said Energel Liquid Gel ink by Pentel. We'll say, ooh, that's already not a great sign. I also haven't used it in a while. Get it started over there. Pentel Energel. I got to remember how to spell here. Energel Liquid Gel ink. That's a little redundant, I think. Pentel Energel Liquid Gel ink. It's a mouthful, especially when you compare it to the fucking precision wording of the Pilot G207 brand, make, model, caliber. That's all you need out of a pen. Pilot G207, done. Pentel Energel Liquid Gel Ink is kind of fun to say with rhythm, but it's also very much a mouthful. It's time for a smudge test. Surprise, held up pretty well. The characters are very clear, probably better than the G207. Maybe even better than the Papermate Inkjoy Gel, this 07 we have up here. The writing is still bolder because it's not the thicker caliber than the Papermate Inkjoy Gel, but it just seems to hold up a little better. It's almost like we're getting less ink out of the Inkjoy, and that's why our smudge was so limited, but this, we'll do another one just in case that was a fluke. I will say I don't know if it showed at the very beginning. I kind of had trouble writing with it, but that might have just been because I hadn't used it in a while. I'm gonna start doing that. I'll start doing this off in the margins. It's a very, very nice black, very deep. Probably not the most drinkable of the pens we've had on display. We'll definitely get into probably one of the most drinkable ones up here in a second. But this was a very much a surprise. And now the Pilot G210. This is the same model as the 07, but now it's I guess a 10 millimeter, which is slightly larger than 7. Pilot G210. You just look how much thicker that is than this Liquid Magnus. Definitely going up in size and scope here. It's also kind of got that sheen of the Liquid Magnus Fine. That little bit of reflection. I'm not sure if the camera's capable of picking that up. But Pilot G210. I'm interested to see how this smudge test pulls up. Not the best. Definitely very smudged. Very, very dirty here. I mean, yes, it's still legible, but all of these are legible outside of the Magnus Fine. This UDGE gets completely lost here. And it's bold, but look at there's this great distance of smudging. I think I'll draw some cubes now. Little cube test time. It's the Bic stick grip. A lot of consonants in that. Liquid Magnus Micro. Are you the Micro? Bump the camera. You're the Micro. This is kind of very sharp. I feel like I'm having to put a good amount of weight into getting a healthy amount of ink out. But there is great precision in this, and there does seem to be this little bumps when we come into corners here. See that there? I guess we kind of have with the Bic round stick grip, but it kind of seems more prevalent on the Magnus Micro. Papermate Inkjoy, where you at? There you are. This also isn't the most scientific test in the world because it's not like I'm getting these out of the box, but what kind of schmuck buys pens when you can find them on the ground for free? I really don't know. I'm not that guy. I'm more of a pen forager, so to speak. That was a busted cube. Liquid Magnus Fine. Oh, is this guy gonna come in and make me do my job? No, get out of here. Fuck off. Go away. I don't want to do that. Liquid Magnus Fine. This is really nice. This one did not stand up at all with the smudge test just because of how much ink is being squirted out of this thing, but ooh, this is very fun to write and draw with. It's very wet. My throat is dry. I was drinking water the other day, and I was gargling, and I wanted to see how long I could gargle, and then I'm not drowning, that's a little extreme, but I realized very quickly that I couldn't breathe through my mouth because there was water in it, so I kind of had to stop for a second and reprioritize my airway usage, I suppose. Anywho, Pilot G207. Here's the 07. I always enjoyed drawing cubes. I feel like I'm very artsy with very minimal effort. You can kind of start building fancier stuff from here. I always thought I was really bad at art, and then I just kind of did cubes. And I'm not good by any means, but I mean, once I did cubes, I'm kind of like, all right, we can expand from here. This was the Pentel Energel Liquid Gel ink, this last one. Now, finally, for the Pilot G207, which is, lays it on nice and thick. This is a pen for sure. Kind of cheated. What? Where did that spot? Am I spitting on the page? I think I am. There's some water droplet there. I don't know. Put in the comments when I spat on the page, I guess, unless it's leaking from the ceiling or something. I don't know. All right, now it's time to rate these. In last place, I'm thinking the Micro Papermate ink, the Liquid Magnus Micro did not perform particularly well on this smudge test. Not very thick, and I feel like it's just generally completely outclassed by the Liquid Magnus Fine. Well, Liquid Magnus Fine. These are going to be on the same tier. We'll have them touch tips here real quick. This is the lowest tier of pens. They're both fun to write with, but the Magnus Micro is so conservative with its ink, and it's readable in a smudge test, but it's definitely not good looking. The Magnus Fine is much more 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, the Magnus Fine is a lot thicker, and I think generally looks nicer than the Micro, but look, this was easily the worst on the smudge test. So this is the low. I'm gonna run out of paper space, so lowest tier, the Liquid Magni. What do we got? 21 minutes? Yeah. Above that, Above that, I'm going to put the Bic Round Stick Grip. Performed better on the smudge test. Maybe that's just because this was the only one in red. And I guess maybe my expectations were just so comically low that this seems better than the Liquid Magnus Micro. But it doesn't seem to smudge nearly as bad. Maybe that's entirely because of the color, like I said before. But they seem to be virtually the same. And neither of them feels particularly nicer than the other, but considering this is not a ball, this is a, can I get this open? This is just one of these classic, I don't know what the technical term for it is, but it's not like maybe it is a roller ball. I don't know. It's kind of, not gonna be able to focus on that? Yeah. Maybe it is a roller ball, but it's not so, it feels much simpler, much sturdier. I think I could throw this down several flights of stairs without it breaking. With the Liquid Magni, I feel like this outer layer might crack. Yeah, I can hear that chipping away a little bit, but this thing it's bendy. It's relaxed. Ooh, that's a good little wrist workout there. So we're gonna put that in slightly above. You know, that's how we'll do it. We'll make a tower of pens off over here. Now what? Probably gonna do the Pilot G210 next. Easily the thickest, a lot of fun to write with, but this smudging is very unforgiving if I'm writing and I'm not careful and I'm moving to the, let me just make more of a mess. Hey there, what can I do for you?
No, just a return.
All right, thank you.
Did I interrupt your own recording?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
My bad.
You're fine, dude.
Also, there isn't already an SD card in the camera, so.
No, that shouldn't be in there.
And then the 30.
Okay, did you get all the footage you needed off of this?
Yeah, that one's wiped clean too.
All right, cool. All right, you're good to go, man.
Sweet, appreciate it.
Have a good day.
You too.
63729. You're not scanned in a borrower code yet. 63729. All right. You get to see me do my job for a little bit. Wonder if I was too rude to that guy. Because he didn't really interrupt anything. I'm not doing anything important here. But I suppose by definition he did interrupt it. Although I guess he didn't. We're still rolling. And I don't plan on cutting this at all. Alright, we'll fill out the form for that later. Anyways, yeah, G210, fun to write with, but you're gonna make a mess. Then I'm gonna do. This is where it. I think in a little bit of an upset here, the Pilot G207 has this just very comfortable feel to it. Maybe it's just because I'm so used to it and used to writing with it, but in terms of the smudge test, it was the lowest of the other two we have left to talk about. It drew well, but it doesn't look nearly as nice and bold as the G210 or the Liquid Gel ink. By no means am I knocking the G207, and I'm definitely going to keep picking them up off the ground if I see them. But that was a little bit of an upset. And then next, I'm thinking the Pentel Energel Liquid Gel ink. It performed admirably on the smudge test. A little bit of a smudge there, and I like this bolder writing. I don't really like how it feels. It feels very cheap. It's very brittle. I can't put a whole lot of pressure on it like I could on the Bic round stick grip. And just the fact that this thing is broken means I'm going to be deducting some points. But yeah, I mean, very, very solid. Recology, I don't know what that means, but a very, very solid pen. My tower of pens is quickly falling apart. Can I do that? No, everything just broke. Anywho, I'm going to go ahead and declare the Papermate Inkjoy Gel to be the superior pen out of what we've talked about today. Easily the best looking on the smudge test, especially when you compare it to every other 07. The Pentel, this is also an 07. It just had such an obnoxiously long title. The Papermate Inkjoy, it has this great feel to it. I love how it looks. There's still this part to it. Its title isn't 50,000 characters long. It's got this good click. I like how it feels in my hand. Very nice click. I love the design. I love how it writes. It's got this, is that the 1, 2, 3 Papermate Inkjoy? Yeah, these are some very nice lines compared to the other 07s we have. The Magnus Fine is a little bolder, but look at the difference in these smudge tests. The Magnus Fine was easily the worst here, and the Inkjoy is the best when compared to anything else. There's almost no smudging there. Like, there's some slight stuff on the E, but I mean, we'll try to make a big mess here. There's almost no smudging on this ink. I guess it just dries super quickly. Maybe that's why it doesn't look so wet when we apply it. It just feels so fine. It feels so precise. What do I want to draw here? I drew some cubes. Let's draw a horrific little guy. Give him a little tongue. Yeah. So anyways, that's all the time I want to devote to this. Follow your dreams.